You know when they say too much of a good thing may not be the best situation? This analogy is perfect to describe the CRA's filing requirements when it comes to GST and HST. My name is Rishabh Kamesra and I'm a partner at SRJ Chartered Accountants. And this is part 4 of a 4-part series of the basics of GST and HST. In this video, we will be going through the filing requirements, the filing payment deadlines for GST and HST, interest and penalties, and for some companies, how to deregister for GST and HST. GST and HST filing requirements are based on annual taxable supplies. In other words, we need to look at the company's total gross sales to determine what are the filing requirements available. For businesses who have sales of less than 1.5 million, they may elect to file a return on an annual or quarterly basis. For businesses with sales between $1.5 and $6 million, they may elect to file a return between a monthly and quarterly basis. And for businesses that have sales over $6 million, must file a return on a monthly basis. The filing deadline depends on the basis chosen. So let's go through some examples. Let's say a company has sales of $6.7 million. They are required to file a return on a monthly basis. So a return that needs to be filed for the month of February would need to be remitted to the CRA no later than the end of March. For a company that has sales of $3.7 million, they may elect to choose to file the returns on a quarterly basis. For a specific quarter that they choose, let's say June 30th, they will have 1 month after their year end to file that return. So a business that has a June 30th quarter ending will have a 1 month period, so we'll have to make sure that the return is filed and paid for by July 31st. Individuals or companies who have chosen to file on an annual basis actually fall into 2 buckets. Bucket number 1 are companies who are actually proper corporations or are incorporated, and their filing deadlines is consistent with their fiscal year end. They must file returns within 3 months after their fiscal year ends. So for example, a company that has been incorporated that has a year end of October 31st must file a GST and HST return by January of the following year. For individuals who are sole proprietors, they must file their GST and HST return similar to the dates when they're filing their personal tax returns. Any taxes owing must be paid by April 30th of the following year, and the GST and HST return must be filed by June 15th of the following year. Now that we've taken a look at the filing deadlines and filing dates, let's take a look at some of the interest and penalties may be for individuals or businesses who are late in filing or are late in remitting the tax owing. The CRA's rates are actually very high when it comes to amounts owing relating to GST and HST. At the current time, the rates are the basic prescribed rates as per the CRA website, plus 4% of interest. So as you can imagine, any payments that are late can actually add up and compound to a significant amount. We always recommend that your filings are done on time and all payments are made on time to avoid this problem. Companies experience a variety of life cycles in their business, and at times, the life cycle they may be experiencing is a decline in sales. We sometimes have companies who have registered for GST and HST because they are required to do so, but different life events or different life cycles have transpired, so therefore they no longer need to do so. How do you know if you can deregister? Well, similar to registering, if your last 4 consecutive sales quarters, your total sales were less than 30,000, and you feel this is indicative going forward, you might have a good case to deregister for GST and HST. How do you do that? Well, it's actually quite simple. You fill out a form called RC-145 that is available on the CRA website or at any local CRA office. Once you fill out this form, you're asking the CRA permission to close your business account. They will want to make sure that any GST and HST filings that are not yet filed have been filed and any payments have been received. Once they ensure that everything is done properly, they will go ahead and close your business account. The filing requirements for GST and HST as described is dependent on the company's total sales. And the filing deadline is depending on the election that was made for the period to file the return. GST and HST can be a very complicated matter, and we feel that it's best to engage SRJ to help you out with this. We are proficient in filing returns and making sure your returns are filed on time and you do not incur any interest and penalties in doing so. Please feel free to contact us via the links listed below, and we could talk to you about how to properly file returns for your business, and we look forward to speaking with you.